from the UK. We are here and so excited to have Jackie Dennison, our network head of veryparanormal.com, but she is an evidential medium. She just has a wonderful, exciting adventures to share with us today. She has done rescue medium. She's done the Inspector Paranormal podcast recently. She's has her own academy at one point in time. I think she's still being running classes through for it. She does readings. She does spirit art. She's just an amazing psychic medium and a really good friend and a wonderful lady and so knowledgeable and so giving of her time. So I'd like to introduce you to Jackie. And Jackie, we're going to ask you to do a special thing for us. If you would draw a card for the collective today, we would be very excited if you would give us your interpretation of the message that might come for the collective, everybody who's listening now or on the rebroadcast.
Okay. I can use these cards. These were gifted to me, and I feel so honored to have received these cards.
Oh, you'll have to say
These are the Beloved Dead cards. They're Carrie Paris and Tina Hart, who were wonderful mediums in their own right, and they gifted me these wonderful cards, and I absolutely love. Look at these! Aren't they gorgeous? There's people on every card. They're awesome. So I'm going to use these, if I may, today. I'll give them a little bit of a shuffle like that, so you can see what I'm doing. And they're just a nice size for shuffling. Some of the cards you get are really big, aren't they? You know, and you need hands like that. So nothing has fallen out. So I am just going to pick at random one card. I can't see what it is. So let's have a look. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. Look at that.
Okay, just a second. We'll make it bigger. Let's see it again. Oh, it looks like, yeah. Oh, that is an awesome.
Well, apart from those handsome young men in that photograph, the card is all about entertainment. And, you know, they're all playing instruments. Music, they say, is the food of love, really, isn't it? You know, it lifts the vibrations. And so I think the message, if we're going to keep it real short, with the message with this today, is, you know, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And so let's have a little bit of fun. Let's bring music into our lives, whether you vocally sing, whether you play an instrument, whether you just listen to music. Or here's one that I really love, listening to nature, because nature is a symphony all of its own, isn't it? You know, you can listen to the birds and you hear the different sounds of the birds, and then you get the wind that just comes in. You know, I mean, how beautiful is that? You know, to wake up to those kind of sounds. So, yes, to all of you people who are maybe feeling a little bit down today, bring music into your life.
That's awesome. And I really connect with going out in nature and listening, because that's my favorite time of the year right now. I listen to the wrens wake me up every morning. I have one nesting in my backyard.
And Jessica Dugas is going to be a song waiting to happen after that message.
Yeah.
Teresa's saying hello. She's joining us from where she is, and happy Sunday to you, Sacred Yin Secrets. So lovely. Lots of people are going to be joining us now. So Jackie, you have had some new adventures since we spoke to you last. You were actually too busy to come on the show because we had invited you, but you are being here and there and doing all sorts of new projects. Maria Gonzalez, she's a local evidential medium from Toronto. She's amazing as well. It's coming in saying hello. So yeah, fabulous message. Nothing like a morning song of birds. And I know where are you in England, Jackie?
I'm in England right now. Yes, yeah. I do live in England, but I tend to flit here, there, and everywhere.
So as opposed to England, I know London's like a main point that most of us know. Where are you in relationship to London? Are you?
Oh, I am probably about a 5-hour drive from London. So I am in the northwest of England.
Oh, beautiful.
So if you know Manchester and Liverpool, I'm sandwiched in between those two. So it's great opportunities to go to Manchester or Liverpool or, you know, anywhere else there. But they're sort of names that I think people would recognize other than London. And so I'm probably 45 minutes either way of both of those.
Oh, lovely. And you're kind of, it's more out in the country, or are you stuck in the city, like right in the city? That's more like a country.
No, I live in a little village. I've lived here nearly all of my life in this little village, and I absolutely love. I wouldn't like to live anywhere else. I'm very much a home bird, even though I do flit here, there, and everywhere. I'm very close-knit family, so all my family are rounded about. My mum's she's 92 in a few weeks' time, and
Oh,
she's literally just down the road.
Oh,
And,
that's it.
my
Is she
brother
still
just
living
lives
down
up
the
the
road
road.
from you? How awesome is that?
I know. So I've literally just come from there because on a Sunday, I go down to mum's every Sunday morning and I prepare Sunday lunch for all of us. So, so we've all had lunch today at mum's, and then I've come back from there to get ready to meet you two lovely ladies.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I
I'm
want to
glad.
hear about this Japan special that you just did that was aired in March, I believe. Tell me something about
Well,
that.
yeah, well, the thing is, I've actually been 3 times to Japan now, and I'm going again later this year. So I went in 2022 in the October, I think, and the show went out in November, and then I went back again to do a second show, but the second show took 2 lots of filming, so which is why I'd gone back in March and April. So I had the most amazing time. And I'm so fortunate, so lucky to be able to doing this. They're a great bunch of people to be working alongside, and I trust the director absolutely so much. Now he can't speak any English, I can't speak any Japanese, and I have a fantastic interpreter who is with me most of the time. She's with me, and then I have somebody with me when I'm actually working who he is the official translator when I'm working. But I love it. It's such an amazing country. If somebody had told me, 20 years ago, oh, you're going to be flitting off to Japan when you're in your 60s and you're going to be doing a TV show there, I would have thought, oh no, they're around the twist. But that's exactly what's happened. And I just trust that where spirit want me to go, that's where I'll be. Where they think I can help in any situation, whatever that situation is, then that's where I'm meant to be. So,
And it seems to
you
be
know.
they're doing like psychic medium versus historian. Like what I was seeing, it seemed like each episode was like a kind of a basis like that to see how you both gather information. Am I getting that correct?
It is very similar to that. So the very first show that I did was literally to sort of showcase how a psychic can help in situations. Just say, for example, in the first episode I did, we had to locate a missing cat,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had opponents is the wrong word. I don't like opponents, and I'd said from day one, I don't want this to be a competition. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
And the writer, who is an amazing man, who put this whole thing together, he said, no, I want to showcase how psychics can help, how you can work alongside a professional in their own field to be able to, to help in whichever situation. In that particular instance, it was finding the missing animal. And so the team, my opponent team, were a mother and son who that's what they do professionally. They find missing animals. They've got all the equipment. And so they were one team, and I was just me on my own, and we both came to the same conclusion. I drew where the cat had been, and I communicated with the cat for the cat to tell me where it was and what had happened to it. The cat actually told me that it hadn't returned straight away because there was something wrong with its foot, with its paw. And when it was located, they found that one of the nails had been ripped off one of the claws had been ripped off. So that's why I was getting those messages. But the second show, completely different. I call it energy work. You know, when I work mainly with my hand chakras and the energy plus what I'm being told. And that was, as you said, Nancy, that was with a historian who was which I love history, absolutely love history. So I was totally in my comfort zone the second time because the journey was all about two samurai warriors, and one in particular whose photograph is behind me on the shelf behind me up there.
Okay.
Because I tell you, oh my God, he's drop dead gorgeous. You know, he might have been dead since 1869, but he is drop dead gorgeous. and he was quite a charmer. And so really it was, he's a famous warrior. I'd never heard anything about who he was. I, don't know anything about really the Japanese history. And so my task, if you like, was to sort out what was myth and what was factual and anything else that I could find in between. And so the historian was able to say, yes, I know about that fact, or uh, I'm going to go and research that and see if that leads me to anything. So I'm only human. Some of the things I got wrong, which of course as human beings we very often do. But one of the things that blew me away was the fact that I was able to hold that samurai warrior's sword. Now it's in a museum, and I'd drawn it. I'd drawn this sword. I didn't even know we were going to a museum, because as with rescue mediums, I'm not really told where I'm going to be. And so when I got there and I was able to hold his sword, in the room at the time was the lady who ran the museum. And she is a descendant of the samurai warrior. His sister was married to the man that taught him how to use the samurai sword and become the warrior. And so she is a descendant. And so she was in the room, and the historian, and we were all sat on the floor. And I can tell you, these people, they just sit on the floor. They have no complaints, just sit right down. And here's me sitting on the floor and thinking, I'm going to have somebody to get me up in a minute because I can't sit here for much longer. Anyway, I'm holding this sword. And as I'm holding the sword, I got a feeling of like a pain in the side and a sudden pain. And I felt as though he'd been wounded in the side, maybe shot in the side. And I felt all of a sudden I got an image of like that. And it just felt like that. And the words came into my mind, she's got a lock of my hair. So I had to say what I have.
Yeah.
So I said to this lady, do you have a lock of his hair? And of course, it was translated to her from English to Japanese. And she just went like, oh, like that. And she burst into tears. And she said, nobody knows that.
Very nice validation.
She had it locked away. I had told no one. And the lovely historian who's written 8 books on this subject turned round to her and he said, I've known you for over 40 years and you've never told me that. So yeah,
pretty amazing, right?
That's why I love doing this kind of work, because sometimes they'll throw you a curveball and you feel a bit silly, saying, oh well, and it wasn't my place to go, oh, I can't say that. It was given to me, so therefore I had to say it. And so of course it made so much sense, and we were so lucky. This is nearly a year later when we completed that filming, that Mrs. Soto allowed us to see the actual lock of hair.
Wow.
I know. And it was so pristine because it had been preserved so well. Oh, honestly, my heart was
Did you hold
beating
that in
so
your
fast.
hand? Did you hold it in your
Sorry?
hand?
No.
Okay.
No, we couldn't. I was able to hover my hands
Okay.
above it, but not. We all had to wear the gloves and the face mask because, you know, obviously it's very, very precious.
Yeah.
And so even when I was holding the sword, I had the gloves on,
Yeah.
you know, and the face mask on just to
So
preserve it, because that's
this spirit of the samurai warrior, he's
yes,
not trapped
yeah,
here. He just came in
no,
to visit. He's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, because he's so. He's very charming, but he's also very proud of his achievements, the achievements of his men. And he was so happy that this museum is there. And I think he just wanted to thank her, to say, you know, thank you for doing this, to keep our the cause. He kept calling it the cause. The cause should be known about. It's something. It's part of the history, and it should be known about, and things should be preserved. So, yeah, it was wonderful. I just really enjoyed myself. And yeah, I had an email last week to say that another show has been commissioned, and so I will be off to Japan again.
now.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh, did Megan go on one of these journeys with you, or was that a separate thing?
No, so Megan and I are doing a series called that's Megan Downs, and she's a British medium. She was trained at Feathers by my colleague
Yeah,
Steve
we
Furlong.
had her on a
Um,
time or two.
yeah, and we're doing a show called Haunted History
Oh, yeah.
Psychics on the Ghost Trail. And
Oh,
so Megan and I are doing that, and that's with it. We've done 5 so far, and I'm doing the editing. So, you know, because we've not got any, you know, big, this is reality, you know, the reality is, you know, we're doing all our own camera work, we're doing all our own sound. Megan is a fantastic musician, so she's doing some of the music. Um, and then I'm doing the editing and piecing it together. We're going to have a voiceover, hopefully. So it's in early stages with production. We want to get 6 ready to go, and then when we're ready, we go straight in. But haunted history again is the history, it's the research with the uh, you know, whatever we pick up from spirit while we're there. Um, and then we have a historian who then goes away, does all the research, and we put it together. And then Megan and I sit together, and I do all the talking. That's normal for me, isn't it, Rhonda? I do all the talking, and I tell Megan what has been uncovered, how the story unravels. And so we have a great time, you know, just sitting and chatting about, you know, something
Now,
we
Jackie,
might have
where are we
done
going to be able
6
to see
weeks
this
ago.
at? Where's it going to be shown?
Well, we don't know yet. We are
Okay.
hoping. We're looking at putting the platform to be veryparanormal.com.
Okay.
But if there are any uh, you know, TV broadcasters out there that are interested in this, then we'd love to hear from them, and we can put this out as a series on the TV. But you know, if not, we're going to go with the trend, when the trend seems to be the internet these days.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Oh,
does. I mean, it's
please
great.
keep us up to date on where
We,
we can
we
see
need
it.
to get you into Gaia. Yeah, that's where, yeah, somewhere how or somewhere like
Yeah,
bigger streaming
yeah,
services that are into that.
Or the
Uh,
Breakthrough Network.
you're so you're so much more sympathetic to the spirit. Now the Japanese have a long culture of uh, it's so different than ours in their relationship to ghosts and ancestors. Um, and like they have altars in their houses to their ancestors, to their past
mm,
loved ones.
mm,
We don't do that. I mean, we kind of do it, but we don't do it. We put up their pictures, but they actually attend, and they have a different relationship. And did you find that was really different when you got down to their psychics? Because of course they have psychics just like we have psychics. Like just
mm. Yeah,
how are they
yeah.
regarded?
It was a big culture shock for me. It really was. Because there is so they are still so very traditional, even right in the heart of the city, which I found absolutely wonderful. You know, you're in the in the middle of this big bustling city with all of these bright lights everywhere. You turn a corner and there you've got like a shrine, and it's so quiet and peaceful, and everyone is so respectful. That's why I love the Japanese people. They are so respectful. And it's exactly like you described, Rhonda. You go into their homes, and that they do have little altars in the homes. We've been to some homes, traditional homes, that have, like, they could stretch the altar could stretch the whole wall, with all the photographs of the ancestors there. And I think that's far more personal. It's really nice, to go in somewhere and honor them in that particular place at that time. They do have outside areas as well, of course, but the actual personal aspect of it, I find really quite moving. Yes, it's
Yeah.
quite
That's
moving. I,
beautiful.
I just love the culture. I mean, they're just so respectful of every living thing, which is amazing.
Yeah, I've read some stories about the hungry ghosts, and they have some fear in their culture too over
Yeah,
hauntings and ghosts. And I mean, we do too. We do too. We have
yeah,
a lot. We make it even more shocking, and I don't know how you would. Amp it up, different from your show, which amps it right down. I mean, it's still kind of scary when you watch Rescue Mediums, but you know, like there's going to be a result. You realize no one's harmed in those programs, and it's not like evil spirits. It's like just energy trying to
yeah.
talk.
The thing with any kind of investigation is taking the fear factor out of things. If you take the
Yeah.
Scooby Doo bit out,
Scooby
you
Doo.
know, and people like to be scared, right? They like to be scared. I don't like to be scared.
Yeah.
I never watch horror movies. I would never want to watch a horror movie. Um, and I just find them very edgy, but put me in a haunted location and I'm quite happy because I call it spirit counseling, because I've come across some very nasty spirits, whether it's for rescue mediums or private investigations. I mean, one of the investigations that we did on rescue mediums was at Ridgetown, and Alison and I were in the basement, and this particular individual, this male, he was so aggressive. He tried, you can actually feel, I could feel his hands around my neck. Now, even though he hasn't, there's no physical body there, he was using all of his energy, because spirit are just energy.
Right.
Uh, he was using all of his energy to focus on that. So he was there, and I could feel it. I was choking there, and I felt his anger. I wanted to turn that table over there. And Alison was absolutely brilliant how she was talking to me and to him, because we worked as a team. And he'd been pinching her, he'd been punching her as well, you know. And so they can be it can be quite dangerous, but you have to be in control all the time. So even with the overshadowing, we allow that to happen so we can get the story. Otherwise, you can be sat there for hours saying, okay, what's up, mate? What happened? And they don't want to talk to you. He did not like women. He did not want to speak to a woman, you know. And
And he didn't
so
like them in
he,
real life. He didn't like them when he was living
Right.
either.
right.
So he just
Yeah.
So
carried over
he's
with
no
that.
different. He's no different
Yeah.
because he still
Yeah.
hasn't passed into
Right.
the light. And
Jackie, I was
Yeah.
wondering if anybody ever comes home with you. Have you ever had any
No,
of them? Okay.
no, no,
So
not allowed.
very
Not
good.
allowed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And one of the reasons is because before I go into any location, I do this every day anyway, whether I'm going into an investigation or not, ground myself, protect myself. And then I open my chakras because I'm intending to work. Now, when I finished whatever I'm doing, I close all of my chakras. I close them all down. And then if I feel a little bit drained, then I reground and then protect. so I get rid of anything that I've been hanging on to. I give myself a bit of a boost from Mother Earth, getting that gorgeous energy in me, and then I protect it. But my spirit guides shut that door and will not allow anyone in.
That's
And
their
that's
job.
why I'm so keen on working with spirit guides. So I won't allow them to come home with me. It's a no-no.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, you give your spirit jobs a kind of a job, and I do with mine too. I have them
Yeah,
surround my place with golden light because you forget, right? So they're in charge of my borders. That's what I always say.
yeah,
You guys are in charge
yeah.
of my
Good.
borders to keep them up and
Yeah.
And to make sure with that.
keep them
And
streaming. Yeah.
that's, I was wondering too, as well. I know, of course, for the rescue mediums that you've done the work for that, but do you also do private work that you go out to
Yeah.
houses and assist people as well? Do
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
call you for that?
Yeah. Last Sunday, that's where I was with my colleague. In fact, there was two colleagues. I'm sorry about this. I've got one dog in with me and one
No,
outside. I
they're
don't know
not
whether you can hear.
bothering us. It's okay. We have
Okay.
dogs.
So that's my other protection.
Yeah.
It's the dog. Yeah, so we were there last Sunday. A lady who had been having problems for some time with spirit. It turned out to be a spirit animal. It was one of her animals who was in spirit, one of her dogs in spirit. So once she knew who it was, she was okay, but she was scared because she wasn't sure, who was jumping on the bed with her. So
That would be kind of
once,
disconcerting.
yeah, right, yeah. And so once she understood that, she was quite happy that the dog was still wanting to cuddle up close, and be there for her. But I will say to you, over the years, I've been accused, not just me, but Feathers Feathers Rescue Team, have been accused of prophetizing from that kind of work that we do. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, I have never ever charged a penny for going to anyone's house for a rescue, in a rescue situation. I've never
Wow.
charged.
That's
They'll
awesome.
say to me, what fee do you want? And I'll say a cup of tea and a biscuit. And if it's over a certain amount of time, that we've, journeying wise, then it's usually my colleague Steve Furlong, who is my business partner. He, will take money for him, for his gas, but that's all. Cup of tea and a biscuit. That's us.
That's
Yeah,
incredibly
that's
kind.
awesome. I mean, part of it you do just because you love doing the work. It's sort of your mission
I
here,
do.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If I wanted to retire, possibly my husband's retired from work, I could retire if I wanted. But I love my job. I love what I do. I love working with spirit. So yeah. There's
So
everybody
you're
stuck
going back
with
and
me, I'm
forth to
afraid.
Japan. Why not? Right?
Yeah,
How
So,
yeah.
nice.
and you do spirit portraits, I hear too, as well, and you do
Mhm.
you do email readings, right, for people.
No, I don't do email readings. I
Okay.
do when I do they like the spirit portraits, up at the
Okay.
back there. Not the a big one behind me. That was a gift to me from a client. That's a red cloud. But I work with coloured chalk. And so I do like spirit guides for people with a channeled message. And
Okay.
so I'll post the channeled message. So that's probably where the email comes in.
So
I'll,
yeah. Okay.
send them the picture with the channeled message, but then I send the original out as well.
Okay.
I do personal readings either here or, over Zoom
Like we're
or
doing right
WhatsApp
now.
as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Have you been
Yeah.
able to do anything with the house, like the house visits through Zoom, or have you like, especially during the pandemic?
Yes.
Were
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
able
Yeah.
to do that?
Yeah. So we've been doing that for a long time anyway, because we
Okay.
get requests for people from, all
Yeah.
over the world, not just in England. And this is even before rescue mediums had come together, so we've always done distant work. And so I have a method to do that. But with Zoom and things now, it makes it so much easier because you can connect with the individual,
Yes.
and you can in a lot of cases you can help. like that. Not in every case, because some cases have to have somebody who's hands-on, maybe to clear the energy within the room. You need to be in the room, or if it's an attachment, somebody has an attachment,
Right.
then somebody has to be there. So I would usually recommend a spiritualist in the area, or the spiritualist church, or a medium that I trust within that area to go in and to deal with that situation. But yeah, I do use Zoom in that
That's awesome.
way.
I mean,
We
and
have,
you were even doing that before the pandemic. So that I didn't even think of that uh,
Mm.
uh for you to be able to do that remotely. But why not, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because everything is energy, everything is
Yes.
thought, so you can work in that way. Yeah,
we're here talking because of energy.
Right.
People always wonder, right? Um,
yeah.
Dana Louise is asking, is there training for this? Rescue mediums. I've done this work successfully, but no training solo. So she hasn't been
Yeah.
able to get some training, and you're all about training, right? So
Yeah,
she's
yeah. And so, well, I do train psychic development classes. We do workshops as well. Um, I always start everybody off at the same level. um, you know. So I would talk to the individual to find out, what kind of work they've already done, because you don't want to teach something to somebody if they already do that. Um, but then why do they want to go into a specific area? If they want to go into spirit rescue work, then I would tailor make the training to suit them so that they are using all of their senses, as well as their sixth sense, using all of their physical senses, but really getting to know your spirit guide, your spirit team, because that's important when you're doing rescue situation. Most of the training is very much putting those footings in, and it's like you've got to do that before you build a house, because it is a specific area, and it can be very worrying. It can have it can have a knock-on effect. So you have to protect your own energy and know how to protect yourself in that way. So you need to know your own energy before you can understand other energy. I once, many years ago, a lady had contacted me for help, and she had been in touch with a very well-known British medium for help. And this British medium worked within spiritualist churches and did a lot of big platform work. And she said to the lady, "Oh, there's no such thing as wicked spirits, as nasty spirits. There's no such thing as that." Because she was used to doing platform work, and of course the spirits that are coming through, what are lovely spirits, want to give messages to the audience, or want to give messages to the person you're doing the reading for. But as in life and in through the doorway we call death, there are people who were very nice when they were on the earth plane. They're not suddenly, when they pass over, suddenly sprout wings and become an angel. So there's still quite this individual that has quite an unpleasant persona. So you have to do a lot of sort of counseling work, really. Spirit counseling is what I refer to it, and that comes in with rescue rescue work very, very much. And so that's part of the training,
so you're
is to be able
convincing
to
that
understand. Yeah,
that less than
yeah,
nice spirit to go to the light to get his wash cycle done, or whatever, or her wash cycle done, so she can come out
yeah,
to her the best self.
yeah,
She kind of
yeah,
return.
yeah. It's like, yeah, why are you being like this? And some, it can take a long time sometimes. It doesn't happen, in an instant that goes, oh yes, I've just seen the light. Hallelujah. It doesn't work like that. It can be, oh well, so and so was nasty to me, so I thought I would do that in return. Or and sometimes you've got to work through all the different layers, just as you would if you were counseling somebody who's still here. It's
So
like, let's
Jackie,
get to the bottom of it.
what
Yeah.
do you do, like regular classroom settings for this type of teachings to share, or is this more personal one-on-one sessions for her to contact you directly?
Yeah, it's very much uh, connecting to, everybody has a weak part. Everybody has a strength and a weakness, and the weakness is normally where the fear comes in, you know. And so
No, I'm sorry. I meant the girl who was asking about classes and
yeah.
where to get educated. Do you teach classes in a group for those who are looking to learn, or does it need to be more on an individual basis?
It's both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So if
yeah,
she contact you directly, that then she could find out
yeah,
that's what that's
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
all
I
the
have
links are
clients
in
all
the bio.
over the world. At the
yeah.
moment, I'm training. I've got 2 people in Japan. I'm training. I've got a lady in Australia. I'm training. Uh, in America, Canada. I've trained quite a lot of people in Canada. And they're obviously on a 1-to-1 basis. You know, and so. But we can do groups as well. If I do an online workshop, we can do a group online workshop with people who want to learn the same thing. But it's not something that can just be taught. You can't go away and research it, and this is how it is, because every situation you go into is different. So if I've got a group of people here that are physically here, then we will go to a location so that they can experience something at that location.
Field trip.
you know yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but also too, just I mean, the proper alignment of self and the correct preparation work before the location. I mean, that all and leaving properly, clearing, grounding. I mean, those things in itself are so important. And that's where a lot of
Yeah.
people get themselves in trouble. Well, they're going
Yes.
investigating wide open, like pulling out a Ouija board and going,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
let's just,
Like we did when we were
let's
kids.
play.
Like we did when we were kids and ordered it from the Sears catalog. What were our parents thinking?
And to
I
believe
don't
that
know.
that's sold in a game store on the shelf. But anyway, we certainly
In
know
the Sears
many who've
Christmas
gotten themselves
catalog.
in trouble from that. And that's why it's so beautiful that you're able to share this with others, so that they have at least the basics in place. It's important.
Yeah. Very. Yeah.
So people can find out more about that at your website, JackieDennison.com, because you have
Yeah.
all your stuff on there. So if Dana, if you want to go to her website, they're in the links in this video or live broadcast or later in our podcast. And speaking of podcasts, tell us about your podcast adventure you had with Tom. That's been I've been listening along the last few episodes. It sounds like it's really cool. And
Oh,
and
do you
and
know
then
what?
before you leave, you have
I
to tell us about your bubble. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was so happy when Tom Barrow contacted me about his fantastic idea. And the show is called Inspectra Paranormal. So it's a play on the word. It's not inspector. It's
Inspectra.
like an inspector, like like a ghost, a spirit, a spectre. So it's very cleverly put together. And these are real events that are happening to ordinary everyday people who are experiencing paranormal occurrences. They think they've seen a ghost, or they've heard a ghost, or something really weird has happened to them. There's no explanation for it. So Tom asked me to be part of this investigative team, and it is a podcast, and very, very well put together by Tom. So there's myself, and we have a historian, Eli Lysett, who is a brilliant historian. So he will investigate wherever the story happens to be. He will look at the house or the building or the land and do some investigative work to see if that can back up anything that the homeowner or the business owner is experiencing. And then we've got a skeptic, Tom Page, and so it's good because you get different angles from things. You get me, the weirdo who talks to dead people, who is, I'm the psychic medium. So, but as you know, I don't, I will rule things out. So if something's happened in that particular building, like a spirit going up and down the stairs. The homeowner's heard something going up and down the stairs, thinks it's a spirit. So I would automatically say, where are the stairs in comparison next door? You know, does that happen at the same time? Is there somebody going to bed at the same time? So if I rule something out, and then this is still happening, then I use my spidery senses to tell me what else it could be, and I would find out who's there. So this is why I love this show, because they're so different. We've done 7 episodes so far. It's been really successful, so much so that we are going to be doing some more.
Yay.
And yeah, and I'm really excited
I really
because
love podcasts.
it's different. It's different. It's very much my cup of tea, you know, investigative work, but investigative work with history. And Tom interviews the guests. Tom interviews the people that are having these experiences. And one of them was even a fisherman in the middle of a field, you know, and fishing. So it wasn't a building at all. It was the land, and something that he was a very, very down to earth guy. You know, this guy, you know, he would go, oh yeah, it's just you know, a sheet's blown off somebody's washing line and it's blowing around. That kind of down to earth. But he's experienced some real paranormal stuff, and I'm convinced that he has had encounters with spirit there. And so Tom will go in and he will interview these people who've had all of these experiences, or go to the location and see, you know, if he can feel something himself. And he has experienced things himself. And then he talks to each one of us in the team to see what we think about that situation. So I like it because there's sort of a beginning, a middle, and an end, and I like that. I like the sandwich thing, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
that
awesome.
you've got something to get your teeth into there, and it can be like, oh, we're leaving this to the, you know, public now to make your own decision on what do you think about this. So it's everybody's opinion, of course, and everybody can have a different view on this subject, and that's why I think it's so refreshing. So we're doing a Halloween special as well. So I'm
Oh,
excited
that's
about that.
awesome. We're so excited because on your recommendation, we contacted Tom and he said yes. So he's going to speak to us. I think we're pre-recording this one, maybe the end of August, going into September. So before your Halloween special. So it's very exciting for us.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. And you'll be able to see us in September. If anybody wants to come to, there's something called Paracon that's happening on the 20. Let me just get this right. Yeah, 28th of September. It's a local venue to where I live, and this is the first time this event's been put on. And so Inspector Paranormal will be there. Tom is going to be there talking all about what we do. Feathers is going to be there, so we're going to be there with our
Oh,
aura camera. Megan is
gosh.
going to be there doing reading. So yeah, there's lots of things going on. I'm
I
excited
wish I
about
could
what's to
just pop
come.
across, but I can't. But yeah, it would be lovely to be able
Where's
to
that
pop
going to be, Jackie?
Sorry?
Where is that going to be?
in
That is
Manchester.
going to be in, no, it's in a little village called Winnington in Northwich, which is about 3 miles from where I live.
Okay, in England.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be live streamed, any of it. I'll have to ask, but that might be, you know,
Oh,
something to think about. That
yeah.
would be quite good. It's got the different paranormal groups coming together to share their experiences.
That would
You
be
know,
so
and
much fun.
it's not all the you know, the big mainstream. It's like, let's bring all the little people
The
in
workers,
together.
the
Yeah,
working
yeah,
bees.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and this
yes,
is the first
so
one.
I'm really. mm,
It's unusual to me that after all this time, it'll be the first one. But that's great.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, a guy called Ian Diver is putting the whole event on. And so it's going to be great.
That's awesome. In
Okay.
September, which date is it? Just for people who are in England who may want to go
Yeah.
up. Which date is it in September?
It's it's 28th of September. I
Okay.
think you have to have tickets for it. So, you know, if they look at Paracon, Winnington, September 28th this year, then they will be able to get tickets.
Sweet. That's very nice.
The tickets are free, by the way.
Sweet, even better, right? Yeah.
Do you know what? This is what's so lovely about Ian.
Wow.
He has decided, because this is the first time they've put anything on like this. I feel awful because he's got a partner, a friend who is also putting this together with him, and I really can't remember his name, and I feel really bad about that, so I apologise in advance. But they've decided that they are funding this event themselves. They're not charging anybody to go in.
Wow.
Because it's the first event. They want to see how it goes. So what a wonderful gesture that somebody's doing something for free.
Yeah.
So
For
awesome.
people.
Yeah.
Just get that stuff out. Just get that stuff out. So
Yeah.
wonderful. So wonderful. I really appreciate you being on the show today. And we put your comments in the. Is there anything besides, like you've got so much coming up, is there anything else coming up that you'd like our audience to know about and to watch? Or anything on Very Paranormal that's gotten very exciting? I mean, we're there, but you guys are watching this anyways. But you have some new shows on Very Paranormal that you'd like to talk about, or anything else?
The shows that I have on Very Paranormal, apart from Rescue Mediums, are the Rescue Mediums behind the scenes, which are sort of coming to a close, if you like, because we lost the wonderful Michael Lamport,
Yeah,
who is the producer and narrator of Rescue Mediums, and so it just doesn't feel quite right to go on in the same vein with him. And also, I worked with Michael on 2 different shows, as well as Psychic Diaries and Psychic Point of View. They're on Very Paranormal, and they are, just chat shows. We invite people on with from various genre,
Weaver were
psychics.
on there. Yeah, Weaver's
And
been
you've
on
been
there.
on that. And you've been on that, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Michael is
yeah,
wonderful too. Lovely.
so that's sort of come to a close as well. But my door is open, and wherever spirit want me to go, whatever they want me to do, then it will happen. It will be there, you know. So I'm always a listening ear, they say, whether it's
Sweet.
listening to somebody here or listening to somebody in the spirit. I do run the workshops with Steve Furlong. At the minute, we were hoping to do one in September, but because I'm sort of waiting for the dates for Japan, we can't put anything, in place right now. So that's a little bit open-ended. But as soon as we have something definite, whether they're online workshops or in-person workshops, then we will be getting back on the road with that.
Nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Very nice.
So wonderful. We can't wait this long till next time you come on our show. Hopefully you'll have Japan done up, and maybe Megan said she and you should get together and come on the show together and talk about.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
Especially when you're getting ready to launch it, whatever you're doing there. That's a lot of work editing. That's why our show's live. I don't have to edit anything. All the mistakes and qualls are in there.
The haunted history.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that too.
That would be awesome.
I love working with Megan like that, and it's refreshing because she's young and gorgeous, and I'm old and not gorgeous, and it's a great combination, because I'm like the mother figure and she's like the daughter figure, and I've got my age and wisdom, and she has got her youth and her opportunist wisdom, and so we balance each other really well, and we work so easily together. We have fun in what we do, and we have a little bit of banter, and that's who I am, and she's comfortable with me, I'm very comfortable with her, and she's a terrific medium. She really is. I mean, she comes up with some things and it's like, what? Where did that come from? But because it comes from an honest place, that's why I think it works, because she doesn't make anything fit. She won't say, "Oh, I'm getting this because of that." Oh, yes, she will. It's like, I'm giving this to you. I'll just give you an example. One of the episodes that we're working on, she said, "Oh, I keep hearing this. Tick tock, tick tock. She said, what's all that about? And I'm thinking, oh, well, it could be to do with it's the right time. I'm thinking all about time. When the researchers brought the information together, we learned that a watch had been stolen and the man was beaten to death, and the perpetrators were caught because the watch had been taken to a pawn shop, and the guy in the pawn shop recognized the description of this watch and contacted the police.
That's
And it's
incredible.
like, TikTok totally made sense. See, that's what I love about when spirit give you things like that. And that's me. I work like that. I it's like if I've got something bizarre, doesn't make any sense, it may make sense. It's not my no, I can't decide not to say it. And Megan's the same. She works in the same way. And so, that's why we understand. She'll say, I have no idea why I'm getting, but it totally makes sense, and then we're both blown away when the research brings everything together.
And it's
So
incredibly brave of you to just speak it, right? Because there's always a chance, like you're going to look like an idiot.
The ego cannot participate because you otherwise you would be concerned about what you were saying. It's like just go
right.
aside and just here. This I'm going to hand this to you, and this is what I'm getting, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, exactly. Because when you're doing that kind of work, you're working blindly. So you've got to, when you sat with somebody and you're doing a reading with somebody, you get that feedback straight away. So if just I'm going to use TikTok because I've just been talking about that. So if I had that TikTok and I gave that to my client and my client had no idea what I was talking about, I would then ask my spirit guide, why are you giving me this? But then we can figure it out in the moment because the client is there, so we can work out what's going on and why I've been given that. But when you're doing investigative work, and you're just getting that information from spirit, you haven't got that feedback straight away. So that's why the research is so important, in that way.
Yeah, and I
Make it
mean
full circle.
and sometimes it won't come to the people until later, and they go, "Oh my God, now I know what you're talking." Just
Yeah.
like it came up. We've got a few seconds left, or a few minutes left. Any change in your theme song now? Since we were talking about music at the beginning, it would be nice to
Right,
kind of swirl around back, circle around to music. Have you got a new theme song now since you've been on
Oh,
your world
have I,
travels?
have I got a new theme song? Oh, Good Vibrations, the Beach Boys.
Oh, I love that song.
Excellent.
I can hear it now.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. Are you working with any new crystals? Did you find any new ones in Japan? Are they into crystals there?
Sorry, can you just say that again?
Sorry, crystals. Do you have any new crystals? Did you find any in Japan? I don't know if the Japanese are into crystals as well, or are they?
They are into crystals. I have some new ones, not from Japan, but from Canada when I was there
Oh,
a few weeks ago. I have these little, look at these, aren't they gorgeous? These were a gift from a friend of mine.
oh, there they, the little
They're
bear.
gnomes.
Oh,
Gnomes.
Oh,
gnomes.
adorable.
Oh, sweet. I'm going out in the garden
Oh,
for you,
nice.
gnomes.
Oh, but in Japan, yeah, they do. They are, because they're very, very spiritual. I mean, Reiki was born in Japan,
Right,
you
Absolutely,
know.
yeah.
right. That's
Um, but they have psychic, they have fortune tellers.
Okay.
They class it as fortune telling. So they
Okay.
don't have mediums there.
right.
Oh,
Okay.
There's no
oh,
medium. Yeah, it's not
Fortune teller.
mediums, it's fortune telling. Yes, but I have made a really, really good friend. Her name is Hitomi, and she is a fantastic spiritual individual. And she is a fortune teller. She's got a very, very good client base, and she works with cards. And what I, I'm absolutely convinced that she is working with spirit, but it's like we have to take baby steps, and that's what the director of the show said, because he was very skeptical when we first met. He had never met anybody who does this kind of work, and the more we are together, the more he learns how I work, the more he has become, and it's so different. Everything is so different there. So he's opening up, and he said to me, with how we present things, it has to be done in a very slow way because of the culture difference.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. It's so how we explain things is not how you and I would explain things together. And so I say, oh, I've got, my spirit guide's here. He's bringing in your mother in spirit. Your mother is telling me to tell you this. And that's a no. It doesn't work like that. So it's like, I've got this information. This is what's coming in here. But I have to say, when I did the second show and I was working with Toshizo, who is the samurai warrior, I did describe the thoughts I was getting that I believed were coming from him. And that's how it was portrayed, that I believed that the thoughts were coming from him using my hand chakras with
Okay.
energy work. Yeah,
Okay. And they could understand that, or they
yeah,
could accept it better. So,
yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being on today. And let's not wait so long before we get together again. Maybe after your show, or maybe after Halloween, when you've done your Inspectra Paranormal show, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
before you start your new one. We'd love to see you again, and we really appreciate you being here. And thank you. Someday we will meet up. I'm again so sorry about Michael. It was sad to hear that he passed, but I'm glad
Yeah.
he's still being able to contact you with long
He
distance.
is.
Yeah, awesome. And best have a great summer, and we are so appreciate it. Nancy, any final thoughts? You got like 1 minute.
I'm complete.
People have just so enjoyed the show, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll get some feedback through your website. Please contact Jackie through her website if you want to contact her directly through there. And watch your podcast, go and sign up for veryparanormal.com. There's lots and lots of shows on there. She's so generous hosting all these shows as well on her veryparanormal.com. It's a great place to binge all the rescue mediums and every other show. So thank you again for being here today. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you for inviting me. I've had a wonderful time.
It's great. Be right back after I send this away. Just